What up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Red Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Tuesday, March 26th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our NBA, MLB, and NFL videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel, and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. Make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So, hey, what up, Jeremy? How you doing, bro?
Yo, what up, man? How you doing?
Good, bro. Hey, yesterday had to do a solo podcast. Glad to have you back so I don't have to do all the talking. Give me a break, but for sure, man. Hey, yeah, we got a fat 10-game slate. First thing first, I just want to start off by saying, hey, man, my prayers go out to Nurkic for Portland, man. I don't know if you guys seen it, but a very, very bad injury. And, man, I wish him a speedy recovery for sure. You didn't see it?
Nah, you know what? This has been a long ass day for me, and we were laying back watching a movie, so I kind of turned NBA off for a little
I have
bit.
the video, bro. I'm gonna send it, but yeah, hey, it's bad though. So hey, real quick before we do jump into this video, a couple quick things. Hey man, a couple days till MLB. Very excited about that, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never used to care about MLB too much. Like I played it because I played DFS full time, but it was not a sport I really cared about. But this year I'm actually looking forward to it. I learned a lot more about stacks and kind of some good strategies to kind of approach MLB. So I'm pretty excited. I know you love MLB.
So you're saying I got you hooked last year?
Basically, yeah.
Hey, so the cool thing is that very shortly, if it's not up already, make sure that you guys go check out. I will be putting out for the next 3 days a strategy guide for how to attack MLB. It'll be a 3-part kind of series thing that I'm going to put out. Make sure that you guys have all the strategy you need, and basically it's also giving you how to interact with our tools and our content and how to use that, and where our content is, like what we're basing our content off of is a process, and we're trying to give you guys the right process. So the strategy guide is kind of what I do, and then how to use the content to use the process, to use the tools on our optimizer as well, so you can be successful every single day.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, a lot of good things coming. MLB, if you haven't already, take advantage of our MLB pre-order special. At the checkout on the website, use MLB50 promo code. Get $50 off our season package. $150. You get all of MLB season, everything that we have, our content, our optimizer, our cash lineups, plus you get the rest of the NBA. Take advantage of that for sure. DFScheatsheet.com. MLB50 is the promo code. Hey, man, let's jump into this slate, man. We got a big slate, a lot to talk about. I'm ready to go.
So I just want to circle back on that. Our developers did put it up, so make sure you guys do check out part 1 of that strategy guide. So let's get right into it. Kyrie Irving has already been ruled out for tomorrow. Al Horford has missed the last 2 games with quote-unquote load management, and I guess they want to kind of see how he feels tomorrow before they make a decision. He should be feeling pretty damn good if he's been out for the last 2 games for load management purposes. The guy's basically just been collecting a check and resting, right? So he should be feeling pretty good tomorrow. If he does play, obviously you have to like him at 7.1 going against the Cavs. They do have a diminished front court. We know that. They do have Kevin Love back. They do have Larry Nance Jr., but Al Horford's skill set, I think, is far superior to that. So you do have to like him at the price of 7.1 against this team because, in my opinion, I've said it many times, if Cleveland can knock down the 3 ball at home, this game will be competitive. I said it when they beat Milwaukee last week. I'll say it again in this spot. This is a young team. They're a hungry team. They do have a lot of pieces. They've gotten healthy. And if Cleveland, they rely on the 3. That's one thing that they do. If they can knock the 3 down at home, this game will be competitive. You have to like Terry Rozier. We're not getting any price break. The guy's price has stayed at 6.5 for the last month of the season. We'll keep an eye on Jason Tatum. We'll update that. But if Jason Tatum is going to miss, Kyrie Irving is going to miss, and Al Horford is going to miss, you're going to see a very chalky Boston stack tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, on the Cavs side of things, hey man, it's a logjam right now. They're healthy. They got a lot of big guys that they're all healthy right now. Nance, Love, Thompson, Zizic. Chris. I'm gonna stay away from that situation. I mean, I'm really only gonna be looking at a couple guys that are really getting their minutes. You can look at Sexton, 6,000. The guy's been playing well all season. Still a very good price tag for him. We continue to talk about it. Brandon Knight, he's gonna have that monster game, and I know he's been up and down. I understand. But I mean, he's starting 3,800. I think he's a really good drop spot play once again, with some upside. Probably, I'm not saying he's a cash game play, definitely a tournament play. But the guy's going to have a breakout game as long as he's in that starting lineup. And I know he's going to get, 20. He's going to play usually about 25 minutes. Then I'll take the risk on him. So I like Brandon Knight at that price tag still. And then Osmond. Osmond's a guy that's playing very well. They're giving this guy his minutes. I understand he's had a rough couple games, but hey, man, they've had a couple blowouts the past couple games, couple bad games. I'm looking at the overall the past month and a half, 2 months. The Cavs have been playing very well, and I think that that they can stay competitive. But like I said, really, honestly, the Cavs are kind of stay away from me. I mean, Boston's a decent, defensive team, and man, I don't know. I'm not really into the Cavs too much. It's just really I like Sexton and Knight, Osmond are really the guys I'm looking at.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But I will say this. I know Kevin Love, you said you kind of want to avoid their big guy spot, but the guy's played 31 minutes in back-to-back games, and he had a monster 48 output in his last game. So I think I think that Kevin Love's a good matchup here. And for me, I would like him a lot more tomorrow if Al Horford plays and if Marcus Morris plays. I believe that Marcus Morris or Al Horford, you have to correct me if you remember, I believe they're the ones that dislocated Kevin Love's elbow, correct?
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. I just don't remember who it was.
I want to say that, look, if a dude dislocates your elbow, that's something you remember, and I'm not trying to get into a big narrative with it, but that's something you remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're going to go play those guys, you remember, like, I missed the entire playoffs, and we didn't go to the finals that year because they dislocated my freaking elbow, right? So let's move on.
Yeah, for sure. No, but I mean, you can always look at Love, and you can look at Clarkson. I just think that they're more GPP plays. There's just a lot of bodies going around, honestly. Moving on, next game we're gonna go with is gonna be this. We're gonna go with the San Antonio Spurs going into Charlotte to face the Hornets. This game has a 220.5 over under, and San Antonio is favored by 3 in this one.
Look, the shot heard around the world yesterday, right? With Lamb keeping Charlotte in the playoffs. Let's start here with Aldridge. This is a big game for Charlotte to stay alive, right? So let's look at Aldridge, 69.6. He had a couple of duds here and then a 47.1 game against Golden State. The guys had a couple of really big games recently, and it seems like they're in big spots. So this is a team that we've taken big men against in the past, especially with Cody Zeller not playing. He kind of, we've talked about the pick and roll that Charlotte plays with Kemba Walker and Cody Zeller. He's out, so now you kind of have Biyombo, who's really just a shot blocker and rebounder. I like Aldridge. 9.2 is a hefty price tag for him, but he does definitely give you 60-point upside, when he goes out there. Derek White playing relatively well. Bryn Forbes also playing relatively well. I think people will avoid Forbes tomorrow because he was in a chalkier spot. I believe it was Sunday slate, and he kind of disappointed everybody. So I like to kind of piggyback off that. I always talk about recency bias. So I think Rudy Gay at 5.5 is another guy you could look at. And that's kind of where I'm at. Pirtle's not a bad play tomorrow, in my opinion, with Biyombo there. Pirtle's got a really good skill set. Pirtle can score the basketball. I think that at 4.9, I'm fine with him in tournaments. Not a guy I'm going to look to get a ton of exposure to, but if the problem I have with Aldridge is 9.2 probably makes him more of a contrarian tournament type play because of his price. This guy we're used to seeing in the high 7s to mid 8s, and when it gets a 9.2, it's really tough to swallow paying that price for him on a 10-game slate.
Yeah, no, for sure. On the Hornets side of things, I mean, there's a couple guys that you could definitely look at. I mean, you talked about it. This is pretty much a must-win game for them. It's been for the past couple of days, and their rotation is very tight. There's some guys that are getting minutes, and they're playing down the stretch, and they're going to go down with them. You start with Kemba Walker, not only because he's the best player in a must-win game, but he's at home. We always talk about it. We like playing Kemba Walker at home. He plays much better, so I think this is a great spot for him. 9.3. And man, this spot for Kemba Walker here reminds me of when we were talking about D'Angelo Russell for the going against the Lakers the other night. I told you it's a great play. He's either going to have a monster game or he's gonna bust on you, but he's gonna bust going like 5 for 30 or something like that, taking a bunch of shots and the shots just weren't going down. I mean, must win game. I really like Kemba Walker. I think he's a really really good play. Outside of Kemba Walker, they finally put the young guy in the rotation, Miles Bridges, where he's in that starting lineup role now, and he's playing a ton of minutes, 30 to 34 minutes. This is the most he's been playing consistently all year, and he's producing, playing very, very well. He's giving you a solid floor, doing a little bit of everything. I think he's a really, really good player on tomorrow's slate at 5.5. He's somebody I think you could put him in your cash game and feel comfortable with it. Dwayne Bacon, too, 3,900. I think he's a solid job spot player if he's going to continue to start. Past 2 games, played 31, 33 minutes, and he got you 24 fantasy points 2 times in a row. That's 6X. Take that all day. So if he's going to be in that starting lineup, I think he's a good play as well. Outside of that, I mean, you could look at Jeremy Lamb. He is a guy that's going to get high 20s to low 30 minutes. But I'm not really going to be looking at anybody else. I mean, Hernan Gomez had a decent game. I just don't really know what's going on with the Biombo, Hernan Gomez. They're pretty much just playing about 20 minutes each, and then they're sprinkling in a little bit of Comiskey as well. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's really just Walker, Bridges, Bacon, and a little bit of Lamb.
Cool.
Next game we're going with, it's going to be the Chicago Bulls going into Toronto to face the Raptors. This game has a 220.5 over under, and Toronto is favored by 14 in this one.
Man, I don't know, man. I think that I don't like looking at this and seeing no game time decisions next to Toronto in a spot where they're favored by 14. I'll have to look and see if they are on the slate for Wednesday in a back-to-back situation. I didn't do that coming into doing this video. But I'd be really interested. I'm really interested to see if they are, because I'm not used to looking at Toronto minus 14 and looks like they're completely healthy with nobody resting or nobody out. So we'll have to see how that goes. On the Bull side of things, I'm not interested in too much here outside of the fact that we have to look at the value. Ryan Arcidiacono at 3.6, Shaquille Harrison at 4.8. Those guys are definitely in play with Zach LaVine already ruled out. Chris Dunn, a game-time decision. We'll wait and see what happens with that. But if both those guys are out and Arcidiacono, Antonio Blakeney, and Shaquille Harrison are going to play, those are supreme value plays, in my opinion, on the slate. I think that they'll be very chalky. I think from an ownership standpoint, the 3 of them, you'll see Shaq Harrison, then Arcidiacono, and then Blakeney as kind of who garners the most to least ownership. But you take a look at their rotation, and if they're going to have 4 guys out tomorrow, and really 3 because Hutchinson's not getting any run as it is. He's been out for the season. So you're taking Dunn, Otto Porter, and Zach LaVine out of the lineup. There's a lot of minutes and a lot of usage there, and we've already seen Arcidiacono and Harrison in these spots kill value. So those are 2 guys I would definitely look at, and I would also throw Wayne Selden in that mix as well. And look, you have to go back and look at Cristiano Felicio. If the guy's going to get minutes because they're out of players at 3.6 at the center spot, he garners tournament consideration as well. It's a different way to build lineups. It's a way to be contrarian. And on a 10-game slate, you have to do that. So I think Dunn's kind of the linchpin in this. If he's the final guy that does get ruled out, then I think that this is borderline a Memphis spot where they've just got all value on the board, and you really load up on guys who are going to see heavy minutes.
On the Raptors side of things, it's looking like they're healthy, man. They got their regular lineup. They got nobody hurt. I mean, it's kind of turned a little bit into a logjam, like we always talk about. But hey, if this game is really going to be a 14-point spread and they're just going to blow them out and the starters aren't going to get a lot of run, then it's hard to pay 10.4 for Kawhi, 8.1 for Siakam, because those prices, if it was a close game against a very good team, I may pay, but in a game that's projected to definitely be a blowout, I don't know. It's a tough one to pay for them. A couple guys that I think are really solid plays. We talk about it all the time. We like bigs going against the Bulls. I like Gasol, 6.3. the guy, I mean, him and think about it is him and Ibaka are pretty much, sharing, splitting minutes down the middle. But look what he does. Even in 22 minutes, he's getting you 38 fantasy points occasionally. He's going to give you a solid floor and usually get you, right around 25 at fantasy points at least. So I like Gasol in this spot. He's a guy, like I said, he can definitely rack up some fantasy points quick. Kyle Lowry, 7.6. I don't know. I mean, you can always play him in GPPs. He's going to give you 35. And I just don't know where the upside is, if it's going to be a blowout. The only other guy, I mean, I still think that Van Fleet, you could play him at 5.6, even though he's going to be coming off the bench. He's going to be the first one to come in the game. We know that they really like Van Fleet. And, hey, if it's a blowout, now that he's coming off the bench, he's going to get the run with the second unit. And I definitely think that he still is in play. GPP, though, if he's coming off the bench. So really, I mean, the guys I'm looking at on the Raptors is Gasol. I think Ibaka's a good play. If he's coming off the bench, going to get some extra run in a blowout. 5,000 is a very fair price. And Van Fleet as well off the bench if the game is going to turn into a blowout. But, yeah, man, I mean, I think this game is kind of a stay away just altogether. What do you think?
Altogether, a stay away? Hell no. Not if you're going to have 4 Bulls out. You can't. There's too much value on the board, and there's too many minutes that are going to get missed with Levine, Porter, Dunn out of the lineup. I mean, like I mentioned, Cristiano Felicio has gotten run, and he's gotten as many as 18 minutes. So, I'm not trying to be a huge fan and promoter of Felicio, but let's just pop his game card open and look what he's done in his last 3 games at 3.6 price tag, 18, 20, and 25 minutes. 20.2, 25.7, and 19.6. If you don't take that into consideration in a spot where they're going to have probably 8 to 9 guys at most who are going to play, if they do, in fact, get Chris Dunn ruled out, Archdiacono, Shaq Harrison, Blankeny, Wayne Selden, Felicio, all minimum value guys, they're in play. They're in play because of the minutes they're going to see. I wouldn't even be mad if you wanted to play Robin Lopez in this spot. The only guy I'm not really interested in is marketing, and that's just because if I'm going to get exposure in this game, there's too much value for me to go all the way up to marketing.
Right. But Raptor side of things, stay away.
Oh, Raptor side, yeah, I thought you had said this game's pretty much a stay away.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I mean, yeah, no, I get what you're saying completely with the board.
The Raptor side, bro, my complete 100% opinion right now is it's fishy.
Yeah. Well, everybody's healthy.
Not just that, but I mean, come on. This is a spot where they've ruled guys out all year long.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. Where they feel they're going to even, and hey, I could even see them doing that to Marc Gasol. He's an old guy. You know what I mean?
I mean, this new load management crap has got teams doing this all the time. And I'm just going to look real quick before we move on. I want to just make sure Wednesday that they're not on the slate. If they're on the slate Wednesday, okay, they're not on the slate Wednesday, so they may not rest anybody.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, we got to wait and see. Yeah, my bad for the miscommunication, player.
Let's move on.
Next game we're going with is the Orlando Magic going into Miami to face the Heat. This game has a 205 over under. Miami's favored by 5.5 in this one.
Hey, man, we've been the Vucevic fan club all year long, have we not? I mean, it's a guy that we've said
nobody plays him, bro. Nobody plays him.
And look, did he go out and absolutely crush tonight? No, he didn't. But he put up almost 50 fantasy points, and that's a run-of-the-mill night for him. And it's almost like the way he's played this season.
Like always say it. He's going to give you 45 fantasy points.
Right. So tonight was borderline disappointing, right? It's like, and that seems crazy to say that coming out of, for Vucevic. But look, 42.3, 42.9 his last 2 games, nothing big. You take a look at what he's done against Miami. He had the 1 dud, but he still put up 36 in 1 game this season. The difference here is the rotation for Miami and what they've done. We know they moved Whiteside to the bench. We know that they kind of have this logjam of bigs that they've had. Bam's kind of taken the role over. Bam's a real athletic guy. This would probably be one spot where I don't like Vucevic as much because of how athletic Bam is. And if you guys haven't watched much Miami basketball, watch Miami when Bam's on the floor. The guy plays like a point guard, very athletic, brings the ball up the court all the time. This will be a spot that I would probably not recommend playing Vucevic, but I would get exposure to Aaron Gordon. DJ Augustine at 6'2". It's the right price for him based on his recent performance. It just is. The guy's been playing extremely well. They're trying to make the playoffs. This is a playoff game, to be honest with you. This is a playoff game for both these teams. They're trying to get in the playoffs. The one guy I'm really interested in is Terrence Ross. And the reason I'm interested in Terrence Ross here is because he's a cold-blooded killer. That's just Terrence Ross. The guy's a paid assassin. He knocks down shots. He knocks down 3-point shots. He knocks down big shots. This is a playoff-type game. The guy that I'm really interested in is Terrence Ross.
On the Miami side of things, man, they're healthy right now. They're really, really healthy, and they're playing a lot of people. I mean, it is what it is with the Heat. I mean, I think honestly, the best play for me on the Heat is probably going to be Derrick Jones. The guy's playing minutes. He's been playing pretty well. 3,700. He, like I said, he last game he didn't start last game, right? Or did he? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, because I know I played him 2 games ago, and he's starting. He did very good. So I gotta see if he's in the starting lineup or not. But if he is in the starting lineup, 3,700, it's another value drop spot play that you can look at. You got Bam, you got Olynyk. They're playing some minutes. Whiteside 5,500. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't know what to do with the Heat. I mean, what are you thinking about the Heat, bro?
I think it depends on Justice Winslow, right? Dealing with this food poisoning thing, he hasn't played in 5 games. Derrick Jones Jr., I believe, did start in the last game because he's been starting in place of Justice Winslow. 3.7 price tag is probably underpriced. You look at Terry Rozier, who's been 6.5 for a month. Derrick Jones Jr. put up 27 fantasy points the other night, and his price hasn't moved. So, if Winslow's out, I think you can play Derrick Jones Jr. here. I really like Dion Waiters at 4.2 just because he has the ability to go off. And Kelly Olynyk is another guy. I think this is a mismatch spot for him. I think that those 3 guys you can definitely look at. And then one other guy I'll throw in there is Dwayne Wade. Price is right for the amount of – it's a good price. You're getting 5x on their minutes. So if it's a point per minute, then you can look – they can give you 5x. Olynyk has upside if he hits a 3. Waiters has upside if he knocks down shots. Derrick Jones Jr. is going to do all of the ancillary things. If he gets you a couple of steals and a block, he can make value. He can also be your drop spot. And Dwayne Wade, we know at any given time, the guy still has the ability to go nuts.
Yeah, no, for me, that's what I was looking at. I think the guy for me is probably going to be Dwayne Wade. I mean, we continue to talk about it. He's on his farewell tour. They're going to give him the minutes. 5,100. I mean, I was looking at, kind of what he's been doing recently. The guy's been playing very well. I mean, this guy, he could play probably 2 more years if he wanted to. You know what I mean? The guy's playing very well still. 3 of the past 5 games, he's got you at least 31 fantasy points. So I definitely think that Dwayne Wade, for me, is probably one of my favorite plays on the Heat. Everybody else, like I said, there's a lot of minute sharing going on. Moving on, next game we're going to go with is going to be the Houston Rockets going into Milwaukee to face the Bucks. This game has a 227 over under, and Milwaukee's favored by 4 in this one.
Yeah, so look, I like Harden here, man, and I'm going to say it again. I told you guys the other day when we did the NBA Live video, you asked me who my favorite pay-up spot was, and I said James Harden, and you were kind of like, ugh. But I look, they want the 1 seed, man, and I think that they believe they can get the 1 seed. I think that they feel that they can get there, that the schedule sets up for them, and I think they can get there. And if they're going to play their ass off like that, trying to get that 1 seed, James Harden's going to be the leader of the pack, right? So first and foremost, if Eric Gordon is to sit, then I like Harden even more because there's that many more shots. And it's not a ton of shots that Eric Gordon takes. It's timely shots and a lot of threes he takes, right? Harden will become more of an isolation player because he won't have that safety valve to kick the ball to when he's in trouble like Eric Gordon. If you watch Houston play, when Harden gets in trouble off the dribble, he usually kicks to a wide open Eric Gordon because he absorbs a double team, kicks to a wide open Gordon. And when they score a lot of points, Gordon knocks down threes. It spaces the floor, and then Harden's able to go to work. So I like Harden. I don't mind paying up for him against Giannis. I think this is a big time spot against 2 teams that are going to be favorites to go to the NBA Finals and come out of one come out of the West, one come out of the East. I don't know how much I like anybody else besides Clint Capella, and I love Capella because of the fact that we like centers against the Bucks. Plain and simple.
Yeah, no, for sure. On the Bucks side of things, I mean, I'm looking at – you can pretty much look at all their starters. I'm not going to be looking at Brook Lopez at a 6.7 price tag going against Capella. I'm not really into that matchup, but with no Malcolm Brogdon in the lineup right now, I mean, Bledsoe, Antetokounmpo, Middleton, they're all in play. We got to remember that Mirotic is also hurt right now. He's out. Ilyasova at a 3,900 price tag. I'm going to continue to go back to the well. I understand he's up and down, but if he doesn't have the best game, you use him as a drop spot. So I definitely think all 4 of those guys are in play. I mean, looking at the bench, I mean, really, as long as Antetokounmpo's in the lineup, I mean, I'm not really going to be looking at the guys that we've been looking at, like Compton, Wilson, when he's out. So for me, it's really just, Il Silva, Bledsoe, Antetokounmpo, Middleton. I think that all those guys are very fair priced. Moving on.
I want to throw one thing in there, though. This game was a ESPN game earlier in the season when Milwaukee went to Houston, and Milwaukee embarrassed Houston, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say that it was the Giannis show. He had a terrible first quarter. He still put up, I think, 58 fantasy points. Harden put up 62, trying to bring him back. And I believe that Giannis, it was the Giannis show. So I think there's a little underline there that Houston would like to come and prove that they can play with this Milwaukee team.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's gonna be, like I said, a good game. I like this game a lot. I think you can look at it on both sides for sure. Moving on, next game we're gonna go with it is gonna be the Atlanta Hawks going into New Orleans to face the Pelicans. This game has a 240 over under, which is just crazy high and by far the highest on the slate. And New Orleans is favored by 1.5 in this one.
This game's going to be. I think this game's going to be fun. I just do, and I like this game even more if there's no Elfrid Payton and no Anthony Davis, and we get that early because there's some value over there. I think that this is a game that you could play Vince Carter, and I say that few and far between. But I don't like the 4.1 price tag, and I think that there's going to be minimum amount of people who are going to be willing to say, I'm going to pay $600 above my drop spot price for Vince Carter for no reason as my SF2. But with a game of this high implied total, a guy that can still score the basketball and shots to be had, I think that you can play Vince Carter. So having said that, Trae Young at 8.2, extremely fair. John Collins, 7.9, extremely fair. Dedmon, 6.3, extremely fair. I think those three guys are your top three Hawks plays. You're going to have to find some exposure to this game because of the crazy over-under and the close spread. And Trae Young is trying to win Rookie of the Year. Trae Young's trying to win Rookie of the Year. So, I think this will be an exciting game. I think there's plenty of guys you can load up here on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, we're waiting on the news. You talked about it. We're waiting on the news for the Pelicans. If Anthony Davis is out, I mean, you continue to go right back to the well with Okafor, with Diallo. Both are very cheap. I mean, you could probably play both of them, to be honest with you. I mean, they're good price tags for sure. We got to wait on that news. If Elfrid Payton is out, I mean,
bro, I don't want to interrupt you, but let me ask you this. Dwayne Dedmon is quietly having a really good season, right?
Right.
If Anthony Davis is out, do you think that Dedmon's a cash game lock?
I don't think so, bro.
You don't think so?
No, because if I'm gonna get Okafor and he's gonna give me at least 20 minutes at bare minimum price tag of 3,500, I'd rather go that route personally.
All right.
You know what I mean?
I think Dedmon's gonna smash this spot if Anthony Davis is out.
So check it. Hey, if you're looking at a site like Yahoo, site like Draftkings, you can play them both.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Okafor is going to be bare minimum price, and we know. I mean, 20 minutes, he can give us 30 fantasy points easily. All right. Yeah. So like I said, I mean, the big guys is kind of we're just waiting on the news of Anthony Davis. Randall, I think Randall either way is in a really good spot. This is his kind of game. It's an up-tempo game, running back and forth up and down the court. 8,400, it is a steep price tag, but especially if Elfrid Payton's out, I could see Julius Randle bringing up the ball more. He already brings up the ball a lot as it is. So, he's the one with no Anthony Davis, no Elfrid Payton. He's playing with a bunch of no-name guys. Come on, coach is going to put the ball in whose hand he trusts. So I mean, I like Randall a lot tomorrow if both of them are ruled out. If Payton is out, I mean, I was trying to figure it out, bro. So who gets the biggest bump if Payton is out? Is it going to be Ian Clark?
I would say that you have to look at him.
The thing is, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like I was like, obviously I know Frank Jackson, but he's already starting. You know what I mean?
Darius Miller is a guy that I think that you could look to plug in.
Okay, so put it like this: if it was Darius Miller, if it was Ian Clark, if one of the minimum price guys, even Solomon Hill was starting in place of Elfrid Payton, then you could look at them bare minimum price tag. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, really with the Pelicans, we gotta wait on this news tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna do our core video. We're gonna do our NBA live. We'll update you on this situation for sure. We're gonna move on. Next game we're gonna go with it is gonna be the Los Angeles Clippers going into Minnesota to face the Timberwolves. This game has a 230.5 over under. And the Clippers are favored by 2.5 in this one.
I mean, look, the one guy that I want to point out here is Galigius Alexander, because the guy's played really well over the past probably 10 games where he's averaged right at 25 to 30 fantasy points. And I would say if you're putting an average on it, he's probably at let me scroll over and look. But so he's averaging 31.54 fantasy points over his last 5 games at a price tag of 5.7. I think is a really good tournament play going against the Timberwolves without, they don't have a Jeff Teague. They don't have a Derrick Rose. These guys are out for the season. You've got really Tyus Jones, and you got to go deep down the bench here to some of these other guys, Jared Bayless and these other guys they've rolled out, not great defenders. And we've seen early in the season when Galigius Alexander would struggle, it was against better defenders, and the guy had a problem turning the ball over. Doc Rivers is a really good coach. This is going to be a really talented player in the league for a long time. You see what he's done. Almost 1 point per minute, 32.6 minutes per game over his last 5 games, and 31.54 fantasy points. I don't mind that one bit. You look at Harrell at 8,000. You look at Lou Williams at 7.4. These guys are in really good spots. It's just a steep price, but I have to say this. If the slate shapes up tomorrow the way it's looking like it's going to with injury news, there's going to be plenty of value to go get guys like this. It's a very high implied total. It's a very close spread. In a game that's this close with this high of an implied total, you have to look at guys who score the basketball like Lou Williams. So definitely in play as well.
On the Timberwolves side of things, I mean, like you talked about, there's going to be a lot of points scored. I mean, you start with Karl-Anthony Towns. I feel like Clippers really don't have nobody that can stop this guy. The price tag is crazy high, though. I mean, that's the thing. 11.80. I think he's a little bit more of a GPP play. A guy I'm really liking is Dario Saric. He's a guy that's going to play a bunch of minutes. 4.1 is a very good price tag. He has 35 fantasy point upside. It's like, Gibson, his backup's out. They're kind of short-staffed a little bit. On the Timberwolves side of things. So I like Saric. I like his price tag. Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones, a guy, I don't understand how guys like Tyus Jones, Terry Rozier, Shabazz Napier, these guys, whenever they fill in, they're always backups. And whenever they fill in, they absolutely kill. I don't understand how these guys don't get starting point guard jobs. So 6.60, the price tag is really creeping up. The guy's been very consistent, though. He's going to give you a floor of 25 with 40 fantasy point upside. It is a tough matchup going against Patrick Beverly, a very good defender. He is strictly a GPP play for me. Andrew Wiggins, man, this is a spot where I'm really, really liking Andrew Wiggins right here. He's getting a little bit more ball handling responsibilities right now as well, playing a ton of minutes. He's scoring the ball, scored at least 20 real life points in 3 straight games, and he's doing a little bit of everything. So I like Wiggins. 6.6 is a very fair price tag for him. Okogie's price tag is up. I'm not really going to be looking at him too much. A guy that we can kind of keep an eye on that's been getting some run as well is Bates Diop, 3,600. You can look at him as a GPP drop spot play with a little bit of upside. There definitely is minutes to go around. I definitely think even Dieng is in play at a bare minimum price tag of 3,800. With Taj Gibson being out, he's going to be the primary. Well, he already is the backup for Anthony Towns, and I think he'll play maybe a little bit of power forward with Towns as well. He's pretty much going to be that little 3-man rotation right there with the big guys. But, yeah, man, that's where I'm at with the Timberwolves.
You're always hating on my boy Okogie, man. Always hating on him. The dude's averaging 6x his current salary over his last 4 games. Plug the guy in.
I don't know. I get it, man, but he's more of a GPP.
6x his price tag. Tell me how many guys on the current slate are averaging 6x their price tag over the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I get you. He's hot right now for sure.
There's a direct correlation to Jeff Teague, Robert Covington, and Derrick Rose being ruled out for the season, and Tyus Jones and Jeff Okogie are the 2 guys that have stepped up to those positions in starting roles and filled in. The guys played well.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on, next game we're going to go with is going to be the Sacramento Kings going into Dallas to face the Mavericks. This game has a 223.5 over under, and Sacramento's favored by 1 in this one.
I think this will be another exciting game. There's a lot of exciting games on this slate, to be honest with you. There's a lot of high-scoring games. It's going to be a slate that has a ton of points in it, to be honest with you. So, on the Spurs side, you can look at all 5 starters. You just can. You can look at all 5 of them. I think that De'Aaron Fox's price tag will keep some people away. He's a tournament play, in my opinion, and he's a contrarian one. You look at in that same price range, you got Trae Young at 8.2 going against New Orleans. He'll garner more ownership than De'Aaron Fox will in this price range. So it makes him a contrarian play. Is he out of play? Absolutely not. He's not out of play. Buddy Hield having a career year so far, 7.5. You look at as well in that shooting guard price range. There's other guys people will flock to. Willie Cauley-Stein, been in the 5,000s, price up to 6.5. I think people will go elsewhere here as well. And Bjelica is not a sexy pick. Harrison Barnes is not a sexy pick. Those guys are Harrison Barnes has a really good floor. He's a really good floor player. We've said it before. He's a really good guy you can plug in your lineup and really just expect him to go 5X for you. And that's kind of like he's a lunchbox type player. So Marvin Bagley, the price is getting up there, but it's deservingly so. It's just a really fair price tag, and it's a kind of a hard pill to swallow. He's right there with Montrezl Harrell in the same price tag. Harrell's 8,000, Bagley 7.7. I think if you're playing Harrell, you could build the exact same lineup and throw Bagley in one or two of them. So I think these guys are in play. To me, this is just a tournament only type deal for Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, on the Mavericks side of things, I can't really talk about them much just because, once again, we got Luka Doncic, game time decision. Right?
Every game, man. Every game.
So it's like, all right. So I mean now we got to wait on that news, because if we can talk about anything we want right now, but the moment he gets ruled out, and then it's a complete game changer, But anyways, man, we got some guys that are definitely getting some minutes. You can look at Powell, 6.6. The price tag is up, but he's getting some consistent run finally in that starting lineup. Last game, we had a blast from the past. Dirk, 3.6 bare minimum price tag, basically. He had 32 fantasy points, man.
What did I say? Do you remember what I said?
No, I don't remember, bro.
I said from what I said was from here on out, play Dirk as your drop spot. And, if you're playing 150 lineups, play Dirk in 20 of them as your drop spot, because on any given night, this is his last run, the guy's going to go up for 32 fantasy points. He can do it. He just can't. Dirk can do that. And you see it's few and far between, 29.7 against Cleveland, then dud, 32.5 against Golden State. So can he do it? Absolutely he can. Keep playing it.
Yeah, for sure. Brunson's guy been playing very well as well. 5.9. For me, I'm just gonna keep it real, man. All the Mavericks are GPP plays. You can look at Powell, Nowitzki, Brunson, Justin Jackson been getting some run. You can look at him, GPP as well. Kebler, he's a guy that he's getting a lot of run off the bench. 5,000. I think he is in play. Dorian Finney-Smith. 3.7. You can use him as a drop spot GPP play. He's a guy that can definitely rack up the fantasy points. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like I said, I just have to really wait and see what's going on with Doncic. That's really where I'm at with the Mavs. If he's out, then there's going to be a lot of value. What I'm really learning quickly is that, hey, there's going to be a lot of value on this slate. A lot of value.
Right.
Moving on. Next game we're going to go with is going to be Detroit. The Pistons are going into Denver to face the Nuggets. This game has a 211.5 over under, and Denver's favored by 7.
Yeah, so look, I think there's a small narrative in this one as well. This was a very bad road trip that Denver was on, and they got waxed. They got absolutely waxed by Detroit in Detroit just last month. I think it was 129 to 120 to 100 is what the final score ended up being, but the game was never close. Drummond went for 50 fantasy points, and Detroit just outplayed these guys. Since Detroit, you've mentioned it quite a bit, Detroit hasn't played great, trying to hang in there for a playoff spot. I think there's guys you could look at here. I think Reggie Jackson at 4.5 in tournaments is okay. The problem is going to come back to always minutes with Reggie Jackson. You got a guy like Luke Kennard. You look at Ish Smith and you look at Thon Maker, and over the last 5 games, these guys have averaged 25.6, 23.2, and 22.4. And I understand that they've kind of filled out the rotation here, and it looks like, to me, Detroit's kind of gone into a playoff type mode where they've tightened up the rotation. Kennard is a guy who has been getting minutes in spots throughout the season, but they've definitely tightened up the rotation. So to me, if you're going to look at people for Detroit, I would look at guys that kind of have solidified spots, right? And then try to see if their price matches that. Thonmaker is going to get 22.4 minutes in this game at 3.7. He's definitely in play, even if it's in tournaments. A guy at that minimum value of a price tag who's going to get that amount of minutes, you have to give him consideration. If you're going to look at Luke Kennard at 4.5, playing 25 minutes, a guy who can absolutely light it up if he gets hot, getting that many minutes at that price tag, you have to give him tournament consideration. But that's really what this is. It's tournament consideration. Andre Drummond's another guy, and Blake Griffin. Those are kind of where I'd round it out. You know what their solidified role is. It's hard to play Reggie Jackson at 4.5 with other value on the board because of the fact that Ish Smith is eating up some minutes. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, on the Nuggets side of things, Jokic, 10.7. I mean, obviously at home, he's the guy that fills up the stat sheet. He is in play, but strictly GPP. I always say it, man. When you got two really good big guys and Jokic and Drummond going against each other, somebody's going to get in foul trouble, man. I mean, it just always happens that way. That's just kind of how it is.
I said
definitely GPP, but I think he is in play.
I said the same thing to you last time these two teams played. I don't think that this is the game where that rule holds true for the simple fact that you've got a guy who plays under the basket in Drummond and a guy in Jokic that runs their offense with a high pick and roll. So I think that you're not going against two guys that are just completely banging each other up. And I think that you've got one guy who's a really skilled guy and one guy who's really like a bull in a china shop. So I think you can play both these guys, and I don't think they're going to get – I don't think foul trouble is the first thing I would think of here.
Yeah, no, I'm not into neither one of them, to be honest with you. There's some other guys. I'm probably going to go value at center tomorrow. That's how it's looking. Like we're going to get some value tomorrow at center. But yeah, I mean, Joker. I mean, like I said, he's in play. I mean, I'm not saying he's not in play, but GPP play for me. Millsap 6.8 price tag, very fair. I like Millsap. I like Barton. I like Harris a lot. I think they're all really good price tags, and I think you can play them in cash games. Jamal Murray, I think he's a little bit more GPP play, but he is in play 7,000. I mean, in my opinion, he's their second best scorer outside of Jokic. The guy can really light it up, and he can score 40 real life points in a night. We've seen that from him. Mason Plumlee, 4.7 off the bench. The price tag came down a little bit, but he's the first big guy coming off the bench, and he plays power forward minutes and center minutes. I think he is in play. Outside of that, with everybody healthy, I'm not really going to be looking at any of the other guys off the bench. For me, like I said, Jokic, GPP, Murray, GPP, Millsap, Barton, Harris. I think you could consider them all in cash games. Moving on, final game of the night we're going to go with is going to be the Washington Wizards going into LA to face the Lakers. This game has a 232.5 over/under, and the Lakers are favored by 2 in this one.
And I have to tell you, man, this is actually a spot that I would consider playing Bradley Beal at 10,000. And when his price was way up in ungodly territory at 12,000, there was not a chance in hell I was going to roster him. I didn't care if he was going to give me 80. I wasn't putting him in my lineups. But at 10,000 going against the Lakers, the fun and gun Lakers who don't play defense, who try to make games competitive, I think you could look at Bradley Beal here. A late night hammer. I definitely think that Bradley Beal's in play. I also would really, outside of that, Jeff Green is probably the only other guy that I want exposure to for the simple fact that you look at Satoransky at almost 7,000. I don't think I can do that. You look at Bobby Portis at 6.5. You have to mention that JaVale McGee is playing out of his mind right now. And it looks to me like the one guy who's playing for something here is JaVale McGee looking to be brought back. So I can't get into Washington outside of Bradley Beal and Jeff Green.
Yeah, on the Lakers, I mean, it's LeBron's a game time decision. We got to wait and see if LeBron's out.
He's probable to play though.
Okay, so I mean, if he's out, it's a game changer. I can see them resting him though. I mean, they're kind of resting him every couple games. So he plays a couple games. Boom, boom, boom.
But what I'm saying is they basically said he's playing tomorrow.
Okay, so if LeBron's in 11,000 going against the Wizards, up tempo game, man, strictly GPP, just because they're not really playing the high 30 minutes and. I don't know. It's a tough play for me. Tough play for me playing LeBron tomorrow.
I'm going to tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. Here's my take on LeBron, all right? This guy has taken so much shit from the media about going to LA and that he's not a competitor and that he's quit. And there's been so many shots of him not with his teammates on the bench. and this team's been eliminated from the playoffs. The spotlight for a team and a guy who's not in the playoffs couldn't be any brighter on this guy because everybody's expecting him to be shut down and everybody's expecting him to quit. And I've said a lot of things about this guy's competitive nature, but one thing I will say is he's not going to fold it up. I just don't see him folding it up. There's the light's too bright, the spot's too bright. There's no way this guy's going to fold it up, and I think he's going to come out and play. You can't not mention the guy's almost averaging a triple-double. He had a triple-double the other night. He was 1 rebound away from a triple-double on Friday night. I just don't see him shutting it down. I think that's what this is all about. It's this minor little knee tweak, blah, 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 blah. He's not going to go. I just, from a competitor standpoint, he's not going to shut it down.
No, I get what you're saying, but I'm not paying $11,000 for a guy that I don't know. I mean, I can see him. Okay,
you'll know tomorrow way before lock though. He's already probable.
Right. Yeah, no, I get you for sure. For me, I like a guy like Kuzma, 6.5, Rondo, 6.6. Both of them are a very fair price tag. I understand that JaVale McGee's playing very, very well. 7.5, the price tag is getting up, so he's strictly a GPP play. But you can look at him, man. He's going to be going against the young guy in Thomas Bryant. Definitely think he can have his way. He's pretty much playing. Is he on a? Did we sign him a 1-year contract?
I believe so.
Yeah, so he's pretty much playing for a contract again, is what he's really kind of going for right now. Like I said, strictly GPP, though, at this price tag. Caldwell Pope, 5.4. Definitely think that, he is in play. His price tag is raised up a little bit, but he's getting some minutes, and, he's been playing pretty decent. Going on the bench, I'm not really too interested in too many of these bench guys. Caruso's been getting some minutes. Wagner's occasionally been getting some minutes. I'm really just thinking on the Lakers. I mean, Kuzma, Rondo, I think you can look at maybe cash games possibly because they're going to get their minutes. McGee, James, and Caldwell Pope are GPP, but they are.
You're thinking who's a cash game play?
I think you could play Kuzma and Rondo in cash.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Kuzma hasn't had – he has not had – look at his game log, and I'm not trying to be a game log watcher, but I do believe in trends, and Kuzma has not followed up a 30-plus point game with another 30-plus point game.
Bro, the guy's going to give you at least 25 fantasy points. He's giving you a solid floor. 34, 29, 27.
25 is like 3.6x on 6.5.
But the upside is 50.
Which makes him a tournament play.
I don't know. I think you can play him in cash and feel comfortable. Same thing, Rondo, filling up the stat sheet, 6.6. You basically need 30 for them to hit value.
Rondo at 6.6, going to play 28 minutes, or Archdiakono or one of those guys that is going to play 34 minutes at 3.6.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see, man. Hey, you got yours. Hey, I got some guys that I got targeting for sure. Anyways, hey, that's it, man. We're out. 10 games wrapped up. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. If make sure to take advantage of the MLB pre-order special, dfscheatsheet.com. Like I said, check it out. All right, guys. Peace out. Talk to you later.